Well, I've been sentenced to 18 days suspension, which is 4 more than a fellow in 2005, as you've just been saying, got for showing people around the House of Commons. It's a few days less than Geoffrey Robinson, the Prime Minister's right-hand man. So I wouldn't overstate the point. It's clear from the reading that I've been able to do of the report that what's really upset them is the fact that I robustly defended myself. They say that if it were not for the criticisms I've made of the process, of the committee, of the Commissioner and of some of the witnesses, I would have been merely asked to apologise, which seems remarkably thin-skinned for a group of politicians. They seem to be oblivious to the grotesque irony of an overwhelmingly pro-war Parliament censuring one of the leaders of the anti-war movement for the way that they conducted the anti-sanctions, anti-war campaign. You would have thought that these people would have wanted to draw a veil over all matters Iraqi. The most important point of substance I wish to make is that yet again it has been found by the Commissioner that I did not benefit personally by a single penny from Iraq, from the Oil for Food programme, or from any other Iraqi source. In fact, the Commissioner makes this point no less than 6 times in his memorandum, which I think you have access to. That's the most important thing for me, because the rest means we're arguing about the funding of a political campaign. Now, again, I would have thought that the people in the building behind me are probably the last people on the earth who have any right to criticise anyone for the way they fund political campaigns. This is a Parliament that's full of party donors, some of whom are convicted fraudsters, convicted thieves, and indeed in the last few days a convicted rapist. This is a Parliament full of politicians who have refused to hold any inquiry into a war which has cost the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, but has spent 4 years inquiring into one of the leaders of the anti-war movement, only to give him 18 days suspension, and not for the reasons complained of, but because of the robust way in which I defended myself. In other words, I should have kept quiet and allowed my betters to dictate to me. Well, I'm sorry, that's not the way I work. I challenged everything that Sir Humphrey and Sir Bufton and Sir Tufton put to me, because the points they were putting to me, and this is now acknowledged in its most important respects, were false. I will not allow people to make false allegations against me. I just give you one and then I'll take your questions. I just give you one. Sir Humphrey, or whatever his name is, the Parliamentary Commissioner, put to me that £13,000 had been paid by the Mariam appeal to someone called E. Lang, E.L.A.I.N.G. He put to me that this may have been my former wife, Elaine Galloway, a respected civil servant working in the Chancellor of the Exchequer's office in the Treasury, on the basis that E. Lang could be altered on a cheque to Elaine Galloway. This turned out to be, and by the way, when I asked him who had made that allegation, he said he couldn't remember. Is it really plausible that the Parliamentary Commissioner couldn't remember who had made an allegation as serious as that? It turned out that E. Lang was the personal assistant of the Director of Operations of the Mariam Appeal, who'd worked for him for 13 months. No apology has been given to me over that vicious accusation, no apology given to the utterly innocent civil servant in this report today. And is it any wonder when people put complete falsehoods to you that you respond vigorously? You know me. I'm not a person, I'm not a punch bag. If you aim low blows at me, I'll fight back. And that's what I've done, and that's what I've been suspended for. It's there in black and white. If it were only the matters complained of, they would have merely required an apology. But because of the way I defended myself in this inquiry, I'm to be deprived of the benefit of the company of the honourable gentlemen and ladies behind me for 18 days. It will be painful, I assure you, but I intend to stagger on regardless.
Mr. Galloway, you're live on BBC News 24. Do you deny covering up where the money came from?
I never covered up where the money came from. I never asked where the money came from. The Mariam appeal had three main donors: the King of Saudi Arabia, the Emir, now dead, of the United Arab Emirates, and the chairman of the Mariam appeal, Fawaz Zurikat. I never asked the King of Saudi Arabia or the Emir of the United Arab Emirates where they got the money that they donated to us. And as you'll see from the report, no one is even remotely suggesting that I should have. I did not ask from which part of their substantial wealth any of the three donors to the Mariam appeal gave their money. I was merely glad that they gave it. I was campaigning to stop sanctions and war on Iraq. If these people behind me had listened to me, hundreds of thousands of people now dead would still be alive, and Britain would not be in peril here at home and around the world. They should be striking a medal for me for my work on Iraq, not suspending me. These are the people who have brought Parliament into disrepute. These are the people who gave a standing ovation, tear-stained standing ovation, to a man, Tony Blair, whom most in the world believe to be a war criminal, just a couple of weeks ago. And they want to censure me, the person who, more than anyone else, told them they were making a terrible mistake.